What's up, builders? Welcome to another episode of the BAM Scandal. It's supposed to be a good one today. I just got finished with the race, so I'm a little, sore and tired a little bit, but it doesn't matter. But what's going on is this episode we're going to be talking about Reckless Ben, and don't we have a lot to talk about, especially with news that came out today, with stuff that I got to talk about that too. So it's like, there's a lot to talk about, and I think we should I say we start at the beginning and just keep going on. Let's hope we don't get off topic, but who knows. Okay, so first, I said we gotta start at the beginning. What really happened? So, as we've seen from the videos, we know that there's a Bricks and Minifigs in Salem, Oregon, that stole there was a consignment deal with the former Bricks and Minifigs owner, and then that owner got kicked out, left, and then the new owners didn't uphold the deal with the consignment. There's a bunch of theories around that other people didn't know, or that the former owner just did like a cash and grab and went away. There's many different theories out there. We'll probably do a whole video on just straight theories and stuff, which also, on the 16th on my Whatnot page, so make sure to check out Whatnot, I'll be doing an interview of a ex-BAM employee who got fired, according to his terms, unjustly. So, can't wait to hear about that. So we gotta talk about the whole Reckless Ben thing. So we know about this Salem, Oregon, we know about the consignment deal. Then Brian, the owner of the Legos, reached out to Reckless Ben asking for help. And that's where this all really began. So with him asking for help, it was Reckless Ben went to this Lego store in Salem, Oregon, walked in, all nice, just asking questions to the front lady, Amanda, who we don't have any contact with her, so we have no idea where she is at this point in time. But he went there and was like, "Hey, I think I'm here to pick up some Legos for my friend. I believe his name is Brian. Brian's Legos." And if you watch the video, she just looked at him and told him to leave. That he was harassing her. And that's interesting, because that shows something that they might be trying to cover something up. If you're really defensive at the very beginning, kind of shows something. See, if you weren't defensive and you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, there would honestly be no need for the video. It'd just be, maybe a little bit less of a deep dive, but it's getting so much worse because of what's going on. But yeah, it's just more and more and more and more. It's just adding onto each other. But yeah, so he does that. The police comes. The police doesn't really listen to him, and he gets trespassed. So, after getting trespassed, remember, he tried to do some, schemes, I'm using quotation marks here, in a way to get the Legos back. So, he did a fake, or not fake, it was legitimate. He made a legitimate company, went through all the business stuff for that, went through a business raffle for that, and even went to lengths to try to get Bricks and Minifigs to sue him, and yet they didn't. But yet, Bricks and Minifigs told Brian that, hey, you want to sue us? We'll drag this out so long and so far that it's not even going to be worth it. So why would they want the other person to sue? So it's kind of weird. Maybe they're in a money crisis, but we all know that is not true, because it's a $40 million company, and they are definitely not in a money crisis because they're spending all this money on a crisis team. But that's on a whole another episode, and I don't want to get off topic. But let's continue, and we'll talk about what really happens next. Conversation between Reckless Ben and there's a lot. There's just a lot. Oh, and the camera messed up. Here we go. Okay. So, yeah, so we all know by now the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs, Eamon McNeff. We know that him, Jonathan Johnson, I believe I said that right, and Brandon Best, which also, what are these names? I have no idea, but whatever. But anyway, so they were all in like cahoots together to work to figure this out. And we also saw in Reckless Ben's first video that one of the employees of that Salem, Oregon Bricks Minifigs store said that her boss called in and was like, hey, how do we get them arrested? Like, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but it ends up working, or they at least get them arrested. But it is very interesting what goes on, because Reckless Ben and Amy McNeff, they talk, and they're like, nope, I don't know what you're talking about. There ain't no Legos here. Nope, nothing you're talking about. Just trying to keep it quiet, cover it up. But it doesn't stay quiet, as we all know. Okay, so after months of trying to get this with Bricks and Minifigs, trying to get, the corporate to listen to him, try to figure this out the simple way, and then also trying the hard way, and still none of those worked, he decided, okay, I'm going to write a court paper. And so he did a court paper. They all had court papers for the right kind of money that they needed, and they went to Utah, where they went to, and this is where it gets deep. So everyone that has not watched the video, you need to watch Reckless Ben's video, but there's a lot. And so basically, he goes to Utah. Before he even steps outside, old Jonathan Johnson's in his front yard on the phone. About a couple minutes later, police pull up. Fake traffic stop as they try to leave. Whoo! We already know. And you already know something's up when the police officer walks in the car and looks inside and says, "Are you Ben?" You already know they be talking together. In which we already know, as we've seen, the American Fork Police Station, the Bricks and Minifigs CEO, Jonathan Johnson, and Brandon Best, all of them are all Mormons. Now, I'm not saying anything against the Mormon Church. Now, I'm not really part of that, religion or whatever. I'm not part of that group, but it is interesting that they're all part of the same, thing together, and yet it just seems weird, and then they're all working together. But then, so they keep going, they try to do it, the police keep coming, they trespass them. What was wild was that Reckless Ben had a 3-hour search on his car for heroin when there was none. 3 hours is, I believe, a long time for, I've never been searched or nothing, and I ain't planning on getting searched, but it is very interesting how it's already taking this much, it's already gone to that length, already. Again, like I said before, trying to get them arrested. Well, then, we go a little bit later, and they decide, okay, we're not going to sue them anymore, the court papers, all that is not working. You see, and I'll talk about the unredacted video in a minute. Well, they end up doing a GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe leads to another problem, and so I'll talk about that. So basically, with the GoFundMe, it's like they're trying to raise money for Brian Mansell and for his, so he can get his collection back. Simple set, easy peasy, that's fine. Well, the police see it otherwise, whatever. The police see it in a different way. For some reason, I don't know what they think, but they think it's something malicious. Okay? So, so one thing that was interesting was Ben Schneider, Reckless Ben, his friend was hanging up a sign for an Instagram post or whatever for the GoFundMe, and he got arrested. And when he tried to turn off his phone, they immediately grabbed his phone. Which, as you can see, he's turning off his phone. You can't turn off your phone and delete evidence, as they say. He was trying to delete evidence. Not true. So the American Fork Police Station is already in bad action, as we can see here. But it gets worse. Very, very, very much worse. So basically then what happens is, after his friends, blah, 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 they get him, Reckless Ben, or Ben Schneider, I'm just going to say Ben now, I'm just going to say Ben, but Ben and his friends get swatted. And when I tell you, whew, you already, for the reason they get swatted, you want to know what the reason is? Because supposedly they had stolen Legos with them. Really now? They had the stolen Legos? Wow. Well, I don't know how that's believable at all, but yeah, I don't know why someone would believe, oh, they're trying to fight to get these stolen Legos back, yet they have the stolen Legos. I don't know, you know, caveman brain cells over here, but yeah, so it is very interesting what goes on. They get swatted. Reckless Ben gets his shoulder dislocated, in which the American Fork Police Station tried to argue and say, oh, it's a different picture. Do you not understand that you can get pictures from Google? He didn't go to the hospital. He went to your dadgum prison, but yeah. So that is there. But yeah. He got the picture from Google. The American Fork Police Station says, oh, it was a fake. That's not real. They didn't actually dislocate his arm because the picture isn't right. It shows left and right, different letters on top from what actually got pulled. Like I just said before, I don't think... How do you not understand that you can get pictures from Google? Because I don't think he ever went to a hospital. I think he honestly just went with you to your prison. So, there's that. But then, anyway, they get arrested. They talk about what's going on. They say about the GoFundMe stuff. And they're all like... And the detective or whatever is like, okay, so Ben is the one that got you into the GoFundMe. Ben's this, Ben's that. Trying to get Ben arrested. Now, we already saw in the unredacted video, which got leaked, so whoever leaked that was, in a way, you know, that's wild and awesome and crazy and blah, blah, blah. It shows what's really going on. But Jonathan Johnson saying that he loves the American Fork Police Station when they got arrested, saying sweet when they got arrested. Already kind of looks bad, as it is. But there's that. And then they get out. They finally get out. The judge looks at what happened, thinks it's stupid, and is like, and he bails him out. Gets him out of jail. They say, get out of jail free card. There you go. They go out of jail. Well, as he's heading home, Ben gets a call from his friend. And says, hey, there was an officer here looking for you, saying there's a warrant for your arrest. So, it just seems that Bricks and Minifigs wants them arrested. Still, they can't have him out. Because he can't make videos when he's in prison. He can't make videos. So now when he's out of prison, he can make videos. And that's bad for them. Only thing is, it gets worse. I don't know how many times you can say that it gets worse, but it gets worse. And which leads to today. Oh, and the camera fell again. Give me 1 second. This camera keeps falling. Okay. So yeah, so like I said, it gets worse. Well, Brixton, or actually no, well, scratch that. Just scratch what I was talking about. Reckless Ben decides, I'm gonna have to flee to Mexico. Long story short, this $40 million company is running people out of this country. Why ain't our president getting in on this? Why ain't the FBI getting on this? Because we're all about closing the borders and all that, whatnot, all that stuff. Well, why are we allowing these companies to run people out? Don't know. But Ben has been in Mexico for a while, basically trying to lead his resistance from there. Which I understand. I mean, you're the underdog. You don't have all that resources, but you are still trying to keep on strong, and it still gets bad. I don't know. Like I just said, I don't know how many times I can say that, but it still is getting bad. Honestly, I think this episode is going to be called "It Gets Worse" because that's honestly what is up. But basically, Reckless Ben so he's in Mexico. He's trying to get this video 3 out. He was gonna do 6 different videos off this stuff. He's trying to get video 3 out. He's staying up day and night trying to get this out, messing with his health. He's not doing well. And then Here we go again. Bricks and minifigs. You want to still drag yourself through the mud again? You decide to silence. You decide to silence Ben. So now he can no longer say bricks and minifigs, and he can no longer say, or he can no longer post any videos about you. And I saw this one comment. Where it was one guy saying, he said, silencing someone very much proves your guilt, which is very, very true. Like, if you silence someone, you are definitely proving that you've got something to hide, because you don't want to get caught. I don't know why they don't see that. I don't know why they're doing that. Bricks and Minifigs is literally losing a war that they cannot win. But, like, now they silenced Reckless Ben. Okay. They don't silence the entire millions and millions of community members that they can't silence. So, you can try, but it's going to take forever, and it ain't going to work. And Bricks and Minifigs is spending like thousands of dollars for crisis teams and all this garbage stuff that they could be just handing over the collection, blah blah blah. Honestly, it just ties back into what I say. Silencing someone really shows your guilt, because they're just dragging themselves through this dirt, through the mud. They're not. It's not Reckless Ben dragging them, and it's not the community dragging them. It's themselves. They are dragging themselves through the mud because they can't seem to just admit that they were in the wrong. They're arrogant, and they're just being, downright prideful in a way, But it is wild. So that's basically all we have of Ben right now. I don't know if he's coming back into America or not, but wow. You tried to silence your main influencer. Okay, here's the line. Okay, if any of you are Marvel fans out there, you know the line from Hydra, cut off one head and two will take its place? That's what they're doing. They cut off Reckless Ben and millions more are making videos. I'm making a video. I've been making videos. You cut off one head, more are going to take its place. So they are really just digging up their own grave here by trying to silence him. If you kept him active, honestly, sooner or later, people might get bored of it. I feel like some people are getting a little tired of it, but people are going to get bored of it. But you just want to silence him, and you're just adding more fuel to the fire, really, and you're failing, and you need to... McNeff needs to step down, and that's my opinion. But that's really all I got to say for this episode of the Bricks and Minifigs scandal, the BAM scandal. And yeah, so remember to check out any of my other videos. Make sure to check out my Whatnot page. I believe link will be in my bio somewhere over there. And let's hope we can get some more stuff out, because in a way, free Reckless Ben. But whatever. See y'all next time. Remember, keep on building.